Welcome to DFS Karma, where we talk about our favorite fantasy sports plays for football, basketball, baseball, and pretty much everything else. Be sure to check out and create an account with all of our partners, such as MonkeyKnifeFight.online, PrizePicks.online, and StatHero.online. Use the promo code KARMA on any of these sites to get an exclusive deposit bonus. And don't forget to check out all of our free fantasy content on DFSKarma.com, as well as our own premium plays. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Please welcome today's hosts.
Nation, we are back. The Farmers Open. We're at Torrey Pines this week. I'm your host, AC, with the Teeing It Up Golf Podcast. I got my co-host, Sam. How are you doing tonight, Sam?
Good, man. I'm excited for a real tournament for the first time in like a long time. Tiger's back, so I'm back, dude. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to go too. That's why I had that long, elongated opening there, because I feel like I'm back too. Like, it's been a whirlwind few weeks for me. I didn't play last week, dabbled the week prior. I really have not been paying much attention to golf. We'll dive into that. We'll talk about, obviously this week, we'll talk about your week last week. I read about that at dfskarma.com. I like how you're changing the content a little bit, because in my opinion, it's always a great thing to look back at the week prior. And especially for people just dabbling and getting into golf, it's a really great piece of advice there. The final thoughts will be out weekly as well, done by yours truly, Sam. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, yeah. Karma Media Network at YouTube. Guys, we are shifting and combining Bet Karma and DFS Karma YouTube under the Karma Media Network. So if you're not listening on YouTube, we totally would appreciate if you could go give us a follow, write a review, pick the golfer you expect to pop this week. Hopefully you're not just picking Rory. Make a comment. I got some shirts, so we'll pick out who's ever posting the winner in the comment section. I'll send a Nike Dry Fit. Yes, that's right. A Nike Dry Fit DFS Karma t-shirt your way. So we got a lot going on. Sam, I'm going to ping it back to you. How did your week end up? I know we were talking in Discord a little bit on the crazy cash line. I actually thought you were kind of kidding in your article, and then I realized you wouldn't do that. But what was the cash line on DraftKings? I mean, you were 5-6, and I think you said it was, what, 545 or something like that last week?
Yeah, I think it was I had to pull up. Yeah, I think the cash line, the $5 double up, which is like one of the bigger ones, is like 534, which is like, I shouldn't be surprised given the tournament, but that was absolutely insane. I like looked at it and I was like, wow, dude, I didn't even like bubble. Like, I missed it by like a solid 25 points. Like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that's just what happens in all the chalk hits. I didn't play Scotty Scheffler, and everyone and their mom did. So, like, when he, finishes third, like, you're kind of screwed. So, I mean, it is what it is. That tournament
it was one of those. I mean, seeing Landry up top there at the end, I was playing Top Golf this weekend, and, man, I'm looking at that leaderboard. In my head, I'm like, is this real life right now? Just surprising kind of, I guess, leaderboard there towards the end. But I guess for me being out of it, who knows really. Let's start diving into it. I think these podcasts, we like to talk about a story, a journey, at least what we've done the last few years. And in January and February, folks, like, it's always going to start a little bit slower. I mean, we'll talk data, we'll talk analytics a little bit, but I feel like those get more heavily induced later in the season, right? Like, we need to see some more rounds. We got a lot of guys that it's still early in the year for them. Some guys, this is their first event. So there's a lot of narratives on that. Torrey Pines is unbelievable. I love this course. It's definitely one of the top 5 courses that I like to watch and would love to play someday. Sam, have you played there? I know that you've played at a bunch of top places.
No, I've not played Torrey, dude. I mean, it's no joke. I wanted to, but I mean, I think we both would get absolutely destroyed at this course. It's
super long.
Yeah, it's long as hell.
So real quick, I know every other podcast in the world out there in golf, especially DFS golf, they're going to run you through the gauntlet. Let's hear the elevator speech, Sam. Let's get a nice summary of what we can expect on both the North and the South course this week. Any strategy that you want to bake into this, and then kind of how you would make your, MME models, or, if people are making multi-entry tournaments this week on DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's going to talk about how there's like the 2 courses. You have the South one, which is the one that everyone knows. That's like where they're playing the U.S. Open next year. That's the one where Tiger won in 2008. Let's go Tiger. And it's like I mean, I think the only advantage is, the South Course is harder, and I think the only reason that comes into play is everyone's playing each the North and the South once and the South twice. If you're going to play Showdown, which I do, I normally put a core and help people out in Showdown in our Discord, but you just want to load up on the guys who are playing the North Course. I mean, that's where, like, Justin Rose last year shot like 63, I think, and when he went en route to like -21. So that's kind of what I would do there. I mean, the guys basically have to score. And so if you're going to play weekend, if your guy you pick to win or one and done or what in cash that goes over par on the North Course, you're pretty much screwed. That's where they have to score. That's where all the birdies come from for the most part. So that's what I'll be looking at. I prefer if my guys start on the South Course, but I'm not going to let that judge. I'm not going to let that drive my decisions, really.
Sounds good. And again, to summarize as well, ooh, is that your dog there in the background? I love it.
My dog, dude.
So to summarize, this course is long. We want ball strikers. I think accuracy does come into play a little bit more than probably the public perceives. Again, it's so early in the year for me that I really don't get tied up with a ton of other podcasts. I mean, there's a couple of guys I love listening to, and that's really about it at this point in my career. I am kind of changing a little bit more towards tournament focus this season. I'm clearly going to play cash games because I love it. It's in my DNA. But I'm going to try to test the waters more in MME a bit. Sam and I talked a little bit off air. I had some success with it early last season, and then I just kind of stopped. So I'm looking forward to start testing those waters. So I might talk a little bit more in that language for y'all this year. And I think golf by far is the best sport to MME. And that's simply because half the field theoretically is eliminated, plus or minus, depending on the event, the amount of people in it, quote unquote, at halftime, right? I mean, when the NBA teams come back out after halftime, half the players aren't just eliminated. So I think the average player can actually luck out, wink, wink a little bit. And, just by default, some of the chalk misses and maybe you're not on it or vice versa. I think MME in golf makes a lot of sense relative to the other sports. And the fact that you have a few days advance notice, it's not every day like MLB, NBA. And then honestly, NFL it's tough too, because NFL, you're always dealing with injuries and lack of information. So I really do think it is the best sport to MME. So enough on that. Also, Sam's content and the rest of our team, dfskarma.com, and we are merging with betkarma.com as well. So go follow us under the Karma Media Network. Let's get into it, Sam. We're going to start rolling now. Let's start with, you know what? I'm going to take the easy way out, and let's start with Hideki and above. Normally, I would say five-figure guys and above, but I think Hideki's going to be major chalk this week. We'll get into a couple guys below that, but I wanted to include him in this upper tier. We're talking DraftKings. Shout out to our sponsors, DraftKings there. I think for me, Sam, I'll start here. I'm probably going to anchor my lineups around Hideki in cash games this week. It's to be determined for me in MME builds, but I will say, Rory, how much more can you say about this guy at this point? Same with Rahm. Yeah. You know how much I love Rahm. I think for me, and I'll ping it to you here in a second, I'm fading, per your article, Rose. I kind of came around on that. I liked what you wrote up about him, and you can talk about him if you want, but I'm fading Rose and MME, and I'm fading Tiger. So that's what I'm doing. I do like Xander a little bit more than the public, but I hate his price tag. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I literally said it in what I wrote too. It's I don't need to tell people why Rory's good or Rahm for that. The thing about this range is I would say I don't dislike any play of these top six guys. But I wrote about Rose, he's traveling a little bit. He's kind of its first thing. I don't following up last year's performance sounds pretty tough, but I can't play everyone up here, and I would just lean with other guys. I think the difference between Rahm and Rory is razor thin. I can't even recommend one or the other. I'm going to play Rory because I think I like him more his win equity, but I obviously will play Tiger. I'm never not going to, it doesn't matter what form he's in or how often he's played. This history speaks for itself. And then
see, to me, right there, I got to cut you off right there. To me, in MME, Tiger is an easy X out. Let 20% of the field take Tiger. That's just my 2 cents. Dude, first tournament. I know he's had an awesome history here before. This isn't still the same Tiger. He's not as long, but that's just my 2 cents.
No, of course. And again, if his driver's not working, like he's completely screwed. Like when he misses, I mean, I wouldn't play him in MME. I wouldn't probably play him in cash, obviously either. It'd be too expensive. So I like him. Like I'm going to play mostly probably 3 max and 5 max this week in single entry. I would probably play him in one of my 3 or one of my 5, and that's I guess I'm equal to field. But I agree. I wouldn't do a ton. I mean, Xander, he hates me. He'll go off if I fade him. And if
I told you a couple of weeks ago, right? I was like, man, why is he like 3% owned and the guy came in second? He should have won, by the way, if he didn't 3-putt there at the end.
Yeah, that's what
I've seen.
Hideki, I'm with you. I probably won't play him in tournaments at all. I might play him in cash. I don't know. Hideki does well here. He's fits the course super well. But I agree with you. If he's gonna be 25% owned or 20. I mean, I don't have a ton of interest in that. I'd rather go somewhere else.
Yeah, I started running some of my early season models, and the unbelievable thing, shout out to Fantasy National, the guys, Pat Mayo and all them over there. Again, it's in your article as well. But I love that if you play DFS golf long enough, right, you have archives, you have data. We talk in our Discord chat, like I kind of dropped the final thoughts in there that I did the year prior. But honestly, that stuff helps me because golf is, I think, a season-long sport. It truly is. And try not to get wrapped up in the day-to-day or I guess week-to-week stuff in golf. But same thing for Fantasy National. Like I came on here and I just don't have the time this year than I have in years prior. And my model was actually already built. It was amazing. I don't know if you actually had your model. Of course I tweaked it a touch, but it saved me so much time. Yeah. So shout out to Fantasy National. I mean, they just make life easier. I mean, yeah, you got to put in the work for the first couple of years. And then I feel like golf does become a lot easier. It's very tilting, but it's fun. All right, let's kind of move on to the next tier. This is Ricky's tournament, right? I mean, over under, this is just a total guess. Over under 27 commercials with Ricky Fowler this week.
So over, dude. It's going to be like 3 hour. It's like absolutely.
It gets so annoying. And this is the time of year, you're in Chicago, I'm in Cleveland, where it's 25 degrees, when it's not global warming out, there's just not much to do. So this is like the tournament that I actually start watching. Granted, I'm around, but man, Ricky, I'll tell you what, I 100% am going overweight on him in MME strictly because of his game log history. Feel free to talk about him. I know you wrote him up a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, I like him because so I think I heard this on Mayo's podcast. It's a good point. Ricky always sucks at this tournament, and it's because every single year he's coming from like Abu Dhabi or some rando place and he completely blows it. But this year, like he's in California. He pulled the classic Ricky last week where he stalled on the weekend after he was leading the tournament. But I like Ricky a lot. I have him at like 10% owned, which is ridiculous. He's never low on because people see that he sucked here or missed the cut and they're like, oh, can't play him. And it's like, dude, it's the same thing I always caution people with like course history and everything. This isn't in Ricky's case, but a lot of guys' cases, like they're just not the same player they were a year or two ago. I mean, take someone like Xander, like he's just really good. So it's like, even though I'm not going to play him and he'll burn me, but like Ricky, I mean, like you can't judge a guy's course history when he's been traveling from the Middle East the last 4 years. I like Ricky a lot, and I don't think anyone's going to own him. They're going to all own Hideki and Woodland and Finau.
Well, yeah, I mean, Woodland, Finau, complete chalk, obviously. Those guys always are. It's just so unbelievable. I am a Finau sucker. And I am going back to the well. Ironically enough, I don't know if the price actually does justice, but he played well last week. It looks like. I mean, This is a Woodland course. The history's there as well. I mean, we're not going to spend time on these couple guys. If you're new to DFS golf, I know we have new people from our own community at DFS Karma and now Bet Karma. So some people are trickling in, but guys like Woodland and Finau Sam and I are going to talk about them every week, and I feel like it doesn't matter the price because they generally hit it long. I'll say this without pause, straight, more or less. You'd be surprised how accurate Woodland is. I mean, they both just kind of lack the winning upside.
His stinger is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. But to Ricky, real quick, people get scared because he's also not a true bomber. I mean, he isn't really that long, and that's his weakness, but he is good from 200 out. All right. I want to hear your thoughts, Sung J M. This guy, obviously, we know plays every week. I mean, he's just always lingering. I mean, any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I probably won't. I love Sung Jae. Like I write him up almost. I make a joke in my article. I'm like another week where Sung Jae's in my core. I don't know. It's not that I dislike him. It's the kind of thing where I just think I'm playing. I like that top range, and I want to play both Rory and Tiger and then like Ricky and things like that, where I have a lot of expensive guys. I probably won't play Sungjae Im just because it's not the right price for me, but I will root for him to do well. I also think he'd be a great play in cash. I just probably won't end up there myself. That makes any
Jason
sense.
Day for me, complete X out, not even touching a guy where it's Jason Day. Like, again, if you're new to DFS golf,
You're going to break his fingernail.
I don't mess with the guy. I don't mess with the guy ever. And if he does win, then so be it. There's spots that I'll take him at, but
before we came on this pod, I literally had a notification on Twitter come across that he said he normally practices putting like 3 hours a day, and he can't do more than like 30 minutes right now. He's like, literally basically saying, I don't know why I'm playing. Like, dude,
Jason Day,
no way.
5% owned for what it's worth for you. Absolute game theory nuts. I got one special game theory play of the day.
The thing is, though, you see, if I was playing 150, like I would put Jason Day in like 5 of them.
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, I feel like that too, but man, is
that even worth it?
It makes a lot of sense. So I want to pick your brain on a couple guys that I just kind of got lost in the sauce with, I guess, at the end of last year. And I know you kind of stay on golf a little bit more than I do year round. And at the end of the day, I rely on you nowadays. So one guy in specific, talk to me about Scotty Scheffler, because I feel like I know absolutely everybody, but why? What am I missing? I'm looking at the stats in Fantasy National. He's checking off the box: strokes gained, tee to green, ball striking, DraftKings points, and birdie or better, and strokes gained par 4, all within the top 10.
Yeah,
last 24 rounds. That is pretty nice.
He's really, really good. He just is like, he makes so many birdies. Like last week, I think a lot of people point to that. That is a birdie fest. I mean, Andrew Landry made like 30 birdies or something. So, I mean, that's one thing. But Scheffler is really good. The problem is that like he's already now, people have seen him. He's new to the game. I mean, last year he basically won on the Korn Ferry Tour and then kept playing to then earn status for this entire year. And then he like won the Korn Ferry Finals or something. Like he's a win. He will win probably this year and probably soon. The problem is that he's now just become uber chalk every week. His price is super inflated, and he's completely saturating the betting market too, which sucks because I would like to bet him, but like you're not going to see him above 30-1 for a long time, which sucks. So I don't know. He's really good. Again, not a play I dislike, but if he's going to be 20+% owned again, I'm not going to. He hasn't played here. I think this is a course you kind of have to play at least once. I think it's really tough to come into Torrey and dominate, and it's not a birdie fest like last week. So I think I like him a little less than the industry probably will for this week.
Someone in YouTube world comment for me. I need to figure out how to like make this podcast, great again. Shout out Trump Nation there. Like I want to get some kind of like ring or a couple drum sound noises when we agree to disagree. But man, I agree with you there. The one thing I will say for the game theory bros is I feel like guys like me right now that haven't been at the sticks as much are going to think just like you are about Scotty. And I think he's going to actually go a little bit under owned because people are going to overthink it. That's just my thought. So
awesome.
Morikawa's right there. I mean, that's the one thing about Morikawa. He's not as long as you'd like. I mean, the guy seems to be rock steady, solid, but at some point the shoe will fall off. I mean, you mentioned a few minutes ago, you're kind of looking for the guys, the gamers who have been here before, done that. As cliche as that sounds, that's actually how I felt when I was kind of like building my pool earlier today.
You see, I want to know a little
bit on narrative. Go ahead.
I want to know if you're playing two guys. Number one, are you playing chalk Ryan Palmer? And number two, are you playing Jordan Spieth?
I never played Jordan Spieth. I mean, I guess 3-4 years ago when I was really getting into DFS golf, I was on the Spieth train, but I won't even touch that now. I mean, literally at all. I don't even want to deal with it, especially at a course like this when he doesn't have the length. I mean, he can make all the putts he wants, but it's going to take him a lot more shots to get there. That could burn me. But yeah, man, I didn't realize Palmer was that chalky. I guess
he's going to pop in every model, dude. Every single model.
It's interesting. He's fair game in mine, I guess. I guess you're right. He probably is going to be chalky the more I look at it. Yeah, he's in my cash game core right now. So obviously I love the play. I want to play him in cash games. Do you have his history in front of me? Not that that means anything, but early in the season, I do like.
So
I like
Palmer,
looking at history early in the season more so than later. For
his
sure.
last. So do you remember he was in that playoff 2 years ago when Day won with Day and Noren? Yeah. He almost won, and then last year he finished 13th. So, I mean,
wow, he's been hot. He's been red
Ryan
hot.
Palmer. It's weird. So you think of him as this old guy. He's like sneaky, kind of long. Like he actually hits the ball pretty far. Like you wouldn't think so. I mean, he's just gonna pop in everyone's model. Like he's good at ball striking. He's good in like if you do off the tee and fairways, he's good. Bogey avoidance, he's really good. He just isn't the best putter on post, so it's weird he's done well here. I don't know. I am back and forth. He seems like someone I should just plug into cash. And me and you talk about it all the time. If he misses the cut and takes 50% of the field with him, that's totally fine. We don't really care. But then at the same time, it's like I don't know if I just want to go full fade, but I probably won't have any of him in tournaments just because of ownership.
Yeah, he's probably an easy fade in tournaments. I'm trying to figure out where I had him initially plugged in my core for MME builds. I can't find it right now, but I'll look for it here in a second. So the one guy that we kind of, and I know we're kind of going down into this, it really is a stacked range. I mean, besides the usual, 5-6 suspects up top, it is a stacked range from Hideki all the way down to Ryan Palmer, in my opinion. And we'll kind of get to this next range here in a second. Once you get down from Palmer and below, as always, decisions need to be made. And I think they're more firm decisions on, are you going to cash or not, especially in GPPs. I don't think there's anything easy below. I think there's traps. I think there's good plays. I think there's wild card plays. But I feel like the 8 and 9K range, you could stuff some really good lineups together if you can just resist the temptation of, playing a Rory, a Rahm, a Woods, whatever, Rose. I mean, if you're making a cash game build this week, and you don't want to read any content, I'm telling you, start with Hideki and go down below. It's probably the most optimal route. You probably could start with Woodland and below. I mean, I'm looking at Hideki's stats, and it just looks like, even though Woodland game log watching wise, this is the debate I had earlier. Can you play Mats, Woodland, and Finau? I mean, the answer is no. You can't play all of them. I've always loved Tony no matter what, so I'm probably always going to lean Tony over Woodland, just to recap up top real quick. And, man, Hideki just – in the last 24 rounds, not only does he rank number 3 in my model, so that's value. He's 5th in strokes gained tee to green, 2nd in DraftKings points, 4th in green and regulation. He's 5th in a key category this week, I think, and that's that par 4, 450 to 500. Mm-hmm. He's 3rd in around the green. To me, that's shocking because years ago, Hideki wasn't as good, and maybe he's just going through a nice little spell here, but he's number 1 in bogey avoidance too. So Hideki's playing really well. The one guy we missed that I took a note of, where is he at? Joaquin Neiman. I mean, is he going to be popular?
I don't know. It's a weird one. I feel like he should be. I have him at like 9 to 10% right now, which I think is probably too low. I think he could be the forgotten man here. He's not the best putter. He's just not a very good scrambler, which is a problem here because you're going to miss. These greens are so small. But his ball striking is insane. So, I mean,
if he's on, though, he can legit
exactly.
T5. He won here in juniors 2 years ago. But last guy, and then we'll move on. This is just a public service announcement for everyone, including myself. I'm going to continue. I started really playing more and more Patrick Reed in the last 12 months, maybe 18 months. And I feel like it has paid off more so than I thought. I feel like the general public always hates Patrick Reed, which we know. The DFS little bubble, they hate Patrick Reed. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just going to continue to play him. To me, I just had to point this out. 9,200, when I saw him, and he's around chalk, right? This is how you win tournaments. If I'm MMEing this week, I am going 2 or 3x of Patrick Reed, which it looks like he'll be, 7, 8, 9% owned. So, go 20% Patrick Reed. The guy is we know what he can do. He can literally win. He's only 9,200. So I think it's screaming value, nice leverage. Just wanted to point that out too.
Yeah, dude. His name of the game. Go ahead. Yeah, his name of the game is like scrambling and saving par, which is what you have to do literally here. That's like what he's best at.
And he'll bring his little helicopter fade for this course.
Yeah, dude. And he's embraced. He's the villain, and he loves it. Oh man, I'm so here for it.
And, like, honestly, it's kind of, like, you got to admit, like, it is kind of cool secretly rooting for him, on a Sunday when he's making the charge. Because, he's a psychopath.
Yeah, I don't even hate it. I love that he's such a jerk. Like, he doesn't even care. It's like, whatever.
He doesn't care. I love him because he wants to win. And guess what? When he wins and I play him, I win money. You know, that's the name of the game.
He wants to cheat for my team. That's fine. Like, if
I'm
he
down.
wants to get
Let's collude. Let's call DraftKings. Let's get it done. All right, let's move on. The region below, Ryan Palmer. Why don't you start off, because I think there's a lot of ways you can go in this range. Obviously, like every week. So let's hear it. Where are you looking at for a couple of your value plays and then a couple of your leverage plays?
First guy I wrote up, I love Wanto Griffin, 7,900. That screams value to me, just how he's been playing. I think that's this guy where a year ago you're like, who the hell is that? He makes a ton of birdies. He's such a stud, and he's a good scrambler. He scores well on par fives, and he's really good at that approach range I'm looking at, like that 200 plus. Moving down, he was not chalky, but I got burned by Kokrak last week, and I've learned enough to not let one miscut scoring you. So I'm probably going back to Kokrak. He's an absolute bomber. He can implode, and I'll take it, but I like him a lot. And then before I go back to you, there's a value play, and he's pretty nasty, but Keegan's only like 7,300, and he hits the ball pretty far. I mean,
I'm laughing. I love Keegan. I always play Keegan. Dude, I already got my three lineups for. By the way, where's all the 3 max entry tournaments this week? Like, is my DraftKings app screwed up? Have you seen that?
No, I know. There's the $3 and the $5. Yeah,
I'm so confused. Like, what's going on?
I know.
Anyways, Keegan Bradley is in one of my 3 lineups. Like, I always play Keegan Bradley. I know who he is, and I absolutely love him. Like, I don't care. Whatever. He's gonna miss 2 for every 3 cuts, and he's gonna pop every now and then. And he is priced like very favorable. Like, it's a value. I know why you're bringing it up like you are, because you're like, well, what is he, 73? Yeah, he's 7,300.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's definitely not a cash play. I'll never forget. I forget what tournament it was last year, but he was like 9,200. And I thought I was getting cute. It was a very chalky week in DFS. And I was like, well, if I pay 200 more, I get Keegan for more upside. And he literally was like 3 or 4 in front of the cut in the last 2 holes. And he went +5. And I remember telling myself, never Keegan in cash. So there's just a rule.
Never.
I'll never play Keegan in cash. Ever.
I don't care if he's 6,000. You don't play him in cash. Everyone knows this. Yeah.
To summarize, Lanto, check. I mean, we were on that last year for a while there, Yeah,
I'm still on the train. I think he's gonna win. I mean, he already did win several weeks ago, so he's a stud.
I can't believe you brought up Kokrak. I was gonna actually talk about him for a while, but I'm on him, and I think that
I'm addicted to playing him. I don't know what my problem is.
Kokrak, I'm a little bit loyal to. He's from Northeast Ohio. Kokrak is in my opinion, I could be totally wrong here because it's so early and I'm not really in the trenches yet with DFS golf, but I would think that Ben On is freaking the uber chalk based on price this week, but maybe that's not the case because it's Ben On. He's got kind of Keegan-esque to him. But I think Kokrak is the natural perfect leverage pivot on this entire slate, at least for this range, because everyone's going to go to Ben On. And Kokrak's sitting there staring at him square in the face at the same price point. I mean, Bud Colley was hot last week too. He's right there as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got one guy I like in this range also, and he's not a long hitter, so people won't play him, is Russell Knox. Right. He's just been playing well.
You do like Knox. Yeah, he is popping on my model. 6th in approach, 5th in green and regulation, 7th in par 4 scoring, 8th in opportunities game. That's a key stat.
People just write him off because he's not a great putter, and because he mainly last week. Yeah, he just doesn't hit the ball far. So people are like, can't.
I can't even tell you his physical. This is just kind of going off topic, but I just always envision every time I'm playing DFS golf, I always envision Russell Knox as being 5'3". I don't know why, but I never play him because I envision him being small. Yeah, God, he sucks.
I hate Brian Harman.
Hey, there are 2 guys on this guy, and I'm shocked you haven't. There's one guy. It's our favorite guy at DFS Karma. We have an emoji after this
Joel?
gentleman at
Grillo.
DFS Karma. Emiliano Grillo. Everybody hates.
not.
This is like, no, I'm
I'm
playing.
not playing it.
See, he's another guy. He's like Keegan, but he's a little bit safer for me. Dude, hear me out. This is a Grillo course. First of all, he's going to make the cut. Like, I'm telling you, he's a cash game play. If people are going to play Ben on, who's going to miss all the putts, and honestly, don't go me on this, but I believe he's terrible on Poa, if I remember, just playing enough DFS golf. Ben on is just very questionable. I would rather have Grillo, who's, yes, he's only going to come in 25th place. I get it. But there's something to be said for, Friday when, your team's 5 or 6 and it's a good team and you're like, but what if this guy, Grillo's like the guy that, like, just find a good 5 or 6 lineup with 7,800 or more left. I think Grillo's, like, honestly, I'm not calling it a great price, but I think it's very favorable. And I would assume that the projection systems actually don't really like him that much. So this is just more my gut call. But if you look at his long-term form, I mean, dude, he's like top 10 in several categories, including ball striking, approach, greens and reg, opportunities gained, which I'm shocked at, but I'm also not shocked because he misses all the putts. So, and also proximity 200 and more was key. So I like Grillo.
No, trust me, he's a stat beast, but you know how this story ends. That's the problem.
He's better than Keegan, dude.
Everyone's better than Keegan. Everyone is better than Keegan, but that's why I'm such a sucker. Dude, I bet Keegan this week. That's how big of a sucker I am.
Yeah.
But wait, there's actually like good plays at the bottom of this range though. Because
all right, let's hear it.
Okay, so 2 guys that are random. I put this in my article. Dude, Sebastian Munoz is like so good.
I saw you rate him up.
Yeah. He just won on the fall swing. Last week, like he finished like top 20 and like lost like some of the most strokes putting. Like he is such a beast. I think he's going to have a great season. I like him a lot. He hasn't really done much here, so people will be off him, but he has played. I might play him in cash because he's so cheap. And then I also really like, he's kind of I always have this one guy a week who just kind of like shows up as value for me. I don't really know why because I hadn't thought about him, but Matt Jones for me ranks pretty well. I play him more than the average person because no one ever plays him, so I play him.
He's a bomber, right? Matt Jones? Isn't he a bomber?
Yeah, he hits it like farther than you think. Yeah, he's not like a Rory bomber, but yeah, he hits it pretty far. He crushes par 5s. He's a good scrambler. I like Matt Jones a lot as a really good value play at the bottom of this range.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I've played that guy a few times in the past, and I don't know. Can't really remember how it went, but I do know that there's something there. A few things real quick I'll just run through. Guys I like, I'll just touch on real quick. I always play Joel Damon, and I'm going to always play Joel Damon. Yeah. 7,400 for a ball striker who's going to hit fairways. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says. Like, Sam, you play golf. I play golf. You put the ball in the fairway. I mean, this is the whole Grillo thing, right? Like, good things generally are going to happen. Yes, you got to make putts, blah, blah, blah.
Unless you're Keegan.
Yeah, unless you're Keegan. So I'm looking at Joel. Nobody's going to play him. I'm probably not going to go here, but I think Lucas Glover's interesting. I feel like Lucas Glover, I don't know, man. Like, this is going to be a U.S. Open next year. I mean, Lucas Glover, hasn't he won a U.S. Open? I mean, I don't know. Lucas Glover's somebody I'm like looking at. Nick Watney's got good history here. I always play Brendan Steele at 7,100 on these West Coast swings, and he almost won a couple weeks ago, and I don't think anyone's going to play him, but he's decently long, and he's got okay short game. A few years ago, Brendan Steele was like a regular in DFS. I mean, people played him all the time. Now no one's going to play him.
Good. Yeah, he used to be good.
Harris English, did you mention him? What the hell's up with that guy?
You know, he's going to be a chalk play again. I faded him last week because I knew he's going to be chalk just because he hits the ball far, but like he like doesn't hit his irons. I don't know what people's obsession with Harris. I've been burned by Harris English a lot. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know why people think he's such a good play. Like last week I faded him. I'm going to fade him again this week. I mean, he might be 15 to 20% owned, and I hate chalk at this range.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a couple red flags. I mean, dude, he's popping in my model, but red flags at those long iron game and around the green both rank over 105. So he's clearly got some baggage.
Dude, he sucks at playing.
You know what the people really want? This is like Ben giving away the free defense square of the week at 5%. The 6K range, I will say, definitely makes or breaks like those huge, huge weeks, obviously, because a lot of people, I'm guilty of it too, get a little intimidated coming down to this range. So my goal is 2020, do a little bit of better job of identifying some talent down here, even if they're complete flyers, especially for MME. Like, you just need to have a couple of shots. The one guy I think that's going to be popular, and we talked about him a few weeks ago, Carlos Ortiz at 6,900 makes a lot of sense here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him popular in cash games. I mean, I could be wrong.
I'm probably playing him in cash. Dude, I thought you were going to mention Steph Straka. He's going to be popular.
Is he? What's his price tag?
Yeah, 69. Same as Ortiz.
Anyone else? Who else are you looking at? And there's a lot of guys in this range. I mean,
everyone knows I play
players.
I have a weird loyalty to Bronson Burgoon for no reason.
That's my guy. Stop stealing my guys, Sam. Come on.
I play Sung Kang like a lot. He's gonna be 1% owned. Play him in one lineup. He will either shoot 20 over or he'll be like top 10. Just like be ready. It's a wild ride. And then I got some real darts for you. Below Doc Redman, people are gonna play. Scott Harrington is very good. Younger talent, 6,400. And then Brandon Wu, $6,300. He is ranking for me. He ranks 13th in my approach, 37th in ball striking, 26th in driving, $6,300. This guy is going to make us some money. It's funny because
I just put him in my MVP pool. Thank you for that.
You can like joke about this range. It's funny. We were talking earlier. It's like, these are the plays that are important. If you really break down this field, there's 156 guys. 101 of them are in the 6K range. That's wild. Like, you have to get someone right in this range.
Some of them are going to pop. I mean, they are,
Yeah. It's just what it is. Yeah. It's not.
Wyndham Clark's a bomber. Who else is down here? Damn, what's going on back there, Sam? What movie you guys filming? Probably producer Travis just left his mic open and he's filming a movie.
He's watching some hardcore stuff.
Like, I don't understand where it's coming from. Henrik Norland or anything about him. I mean, he's popping in green and regs.
Yeah.
Strokes game par 5.
He's good. I mean, again, those are the guys I like in the I didn't mention at 7K. Cameron Davis has been playing really well. I like him a lot.
Young kid. He's a bomber, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he hits it far. He's an Australian kid. Like, he's good. He's been
that's him.
Last week he finished well. He's had like 3 good tournaments in a row, all good tee to green. Those are my 6. Yeah, I mean, I don't think. Oh, dude, 7K. Yeah. I can't believe I didn't mention Pat Perez. It's a Pat Perez week.
Why is that?
Well, he always plays well in California. He's back from injury. No one's gonna own him. I mean, I think he's played decently well.
I'm putting him into my MME pool as we speak. So thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. I mean, Pat Perez has played here 9 of the last 10 years, and he has 3 top 20s, a runner-up, and a 4th. It's pretty good.
I love it. All right. Well, that's enough of the 6K range. I think, we flew through this one. Nice little condensed 35 minutes. We're trying to keep it in that sweet spot because we all know everybody has attention spans that, let's just say, lack of these days, right? So we hope that you guys find this interesting enough to keep listening moving forward. We're going to keep getting better with these. It's only, our second one this year, Sam. Sam will have guests on throughout the year. It'll get good for the 4 majors. We'll definitely have kind of like a roundtable approach, and we'll definitely have more thorough ones for the majors. Like I said, we'll induce more analytics as time goes on here. But early in the season, it's just a lot of kind of what we started diving into towards the end of the year last year. So to summarize, you can find the rest of our content at dfskarma.com. Shout out to our sponsor, ourselves, betkarma.com. I love it. And don't forget, go to YouTube because we are conjoining both Bet Karma and DFS Karma under the Karma Media Network umbrella. And please give that a follow. Give us a thumbs up for this podcast. It totally helps us out. You may not think so, but it really does. Leave a comment. Like I said, who do you think is going to win? If you guys are watching me on YouTube, I actually do have a Nike Dry Fit DFS Karma. I mean, this is like a $40 shirt. It's really nice. It's form-fitting. If you guys can pick the winner, it can't be Rom or Rory. So, and if not, we'll roll it over to next week. Sam, I'll leave you on that note. besides any of the top guys, is there anybody that you're picking as your one and done? Are you doing that this year at the Guts Corner?
Yeah, I had Coke Rack last week. That did not work out. If I had to go with my one and done, I read these in my article, some one and done options. I'll give you my, who I think is going to win. I bet him would be Gary Woodland. But if picking a non-Gary Woodland, I'm going to go with, dude, Patrick Reed. That's my winner this week. Patrick Reed. And everyone is.
I mean, he could get it done. Last thing, shout out to our sponsors at DraftKings. You know, if you're taking Sam's advice and you want to toss down and you're in a state where it's legalized, just head to betkarma.com, click the drop-down arrow, and you can go make that bet if you haven't already signed up through the sportsbook there. All right. Good luck this week, everybody. Hopefully your screens are green at the end of the week. Tag us in Twitter if there are. If not, Sam and I will be in our Discord chat talking more golf later this week. Thanks, guys. Good luck. Okay. Hey, Sam.
What's up?
Where's Travis at?
I don't know. Probably watching that hardcore stuff that we heard on the microphone.
Unbelievable.
Can hear him.
Yeah.